So we want to have good ambience in our games. We want to have good audio. Like, if we have like a bush in our game, we want it to like make noise. Well, we don't have to need it to make noise, but okay, whatever. I'm gonna add a bush, and I'm gonna make it make noise. Make it green with the material. Whoops, that's not green. That can just have to be that color. Okay, just like that. And then we want it to make noise, so we're gonna add a audio stream player, 3D, because we're in 3D. And then once we're here, if we want a sound to loop forever, then there's some issues that you run into. So like, one is the end of the sound. It kind of like, there is a gap where the sound like, cuts off and it goes like, gets like quieter or something. But we want to loop it to the start when like the thing is done at that point. And we don't want it to have any like weird like clicks or like pops in the audio, which I think Godot has some trouble doing when you restart it from like when it's still playing. And it also cuts off that end, which you might want for the thing. So we're gonna do that. So in here we can load up our audio file. I don't know where I put it. Okay, so just this. And then we don't care about this playing right now because we are going to make duplications of this audio stream player 3D, and so we can just edit this to whatever we want. You can do whatever, like volume, set it to whatever, pitch, set it to whatever. I'm just gonna leave it like that. I renamed this bush test, and then now we're gonna add a script, and so we're gonna have this. I don't even know where I want this to be. This can be right here. It's fine. Okay, so we have this. Now we want to be able to tell when the audio, like the time of when the audio is playing, gets to a certain point. So not just when it's finished. You want to see when it's like actually like done, but the audio is still playing. So you can use like a audio editor or whatever to like check like exactly the certain point, like when the audio ends, like to the millisecond. So like if you have FL Studio, which this is like the bush sound. Ignore what it actually sounds like. It's just the thing. Okay, so you're probably gonna have way longer like audio things where like the end is going to be at like maybe like 2 minutes or something, but mine is at 0 seconds. Wait, no, 0.81 seconds. So remember that. And then basically we're going to add a timer. So we're going to add a timer, and then we're just going to put the time that we know the audio is going to end at into the timer. And then there might be some things, if you have like a constant like kind of like loud noise that's being made, you might want to like go inward a little bit to make sure it doesn't like cut off if there's like some weird delay or something. But you also want to be careful that you don't go too far inward to where it starts just playing over like the thing that's like currently playing, so it just gets like louder for like a tiny bit and it just sounds weird. So you just kind of got to be, just figure it out. 0.81 I think is when it ends. So I'm going to set that, boom, and then in the script that we have, we are going to want to reference both the sound and the timer, so we can use onReady for that. this, I think, audio, and then for the on ready, use the $sign, and then audio stream player, and then var timer, and then this is the timer. Boom. We're going to want to just click the timer, and then on the right go to the node, and then right click on timeout. That's just the function for when the timer runs out, and then connect it to your script. Ooh, I almost just connected that to the wrong thing. This. Okay, so we have that. So we're going to want to make a copy of the audio. So actually, I'm just going to copy, and then just audio dot duplicate, just like that, and then to because this is the parent node of where our audio is, we can add child, which is copy, because we're just duplicating this, and then we play the copy. This is when we're actually playing the audio, and then we can have a couple more variables up here to remember like what is what for like the actual audio thing. So we're gonna have copy audio. Actually, this might get a little weird, so I'm just gonna say copy sound, and then current sound, and then so for the current sound, we can just set this to the audio thing or whatever type thing. Copy sound, we're just gonna have that blank for now because we're waiting to get a copy sound. And then we want the timer to start over again because we're looping the audio. And then we will actually wait in the code. So this is gonna get kind of weird. I don't like doing these timers. Get tree, parentheses, dot, create timer. And then this is just a buffer for you just want this to be shorter than what your actual timer is, because this is just letting the audio that is ending just play out. So I'll just say 0.5 seconds. I'll just give it that much time. And then comma false. So if you ever want to have like a pause menu, this will pause for the game when you stop the process of everything. And then dot timeout. And then we want to check if copy sound is a real thing, then we can free it from the memory, because we don't want to be adding like a ton of objects and just not deleting them. That would be pretty bad. And then q free, that's the function for removing it from memory, I guess. And then we set copy sound equal to copy, because that is the new current audio that's playing. And so, yeah, I think it's just like that. And then you can add a ready function, which plays at the start, where the function runs at the start of when you start your game. And then we can call the on timer timeout, so we don't have to worry about doing anything weird with like playing the audio. This just starts the whole thing up. And yes, and I think that's it. Okay, so as you can see, this does work. There's no loop cut marks in the audio, there's no clicking, there's no popping, just very ambient, atmospheric, just adding a ton of, life to your game. And that's really all we want to do. So let me just close out this.